Hello, I'm Bill Lord, and we welcome you to the 2022 Lake of the Woods Board of Directors candidate interviews. We'll be speaking with each of the four candidates this morning. And first is Vassa Olson. And welcome. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Good morning, Bill, Lake of the Woods residents. I'm happy to be here and answer some questions.
All right, let's get to it.
Okay.
All right. Now, there was a recent Lake Currents issue that had all the biographical summary for each of the candidates. But there's a good chance that some folks didn't read it and others just may not know a lot about you. So if you could just tell us a little about your background, maybe start with how long you've lived at the lake.
Sure. So at the age of 19, I came to United States in 1982 from the old Soviet Union. Later, I became a flight attendant with Eastern Airlines, and I met and married an F-14 Navy fighter pilot. At the time, we settled in Arlington, Virginia. Then, later, my husband and two of our toddlers, a 1- and a 2-year-old at the time, moved to Lake of the Woods from Virginia Beach. In the spring of 1991, we purchased a 5-bedroom split foyer for $98,000 in 1991. Then he attached a 2-car garage to our house, and we had a nice, large family home. At the time, there were only a few families living in Lake of the Woods. I think you can count the kids on really 2 of your hands. We were just beautifully settling in. I obtained a year later, actually in the same year, I obtained a real estate license or degree from Germanic College in Locust Grove. And shortly after that, my husband started a residential home building construction company right here at the lake. Before the internet, Lake of the Woods was Virginia's best kept secret. People only knew about our community from their already property owners' friends, co-workers, or Washington Post and land advertisement for the properties for sale in this little known at the time community called Lake of the Woods. That's pretty much how we...
So how long have you been here?
Since 91, that's
91.
over 30 years.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
Yes, it's been a home.
So maybe you could also tell us of any knowledge or skills that you possess that would be useful to you as a member of the board of directors.
Absolutely. In the last 30 years, I raised my kids, my children, 2 of my children. I was selling homes and assisting my husband with his home building business while he was on the way on flights. I have learned to manage money. I sharpened my communication and negotiation skills over the years. Problem solving and conflict resolutions were my daily work. I have a strong sense of responsibility to my family, work, and my community, most of all. Today, I am proud of my now grown children. They grew up right here at the lake. My son and son-in-law proudly served in the military, both Navy SEALs. My dedication to Lake of the Woods community speaks loudly. I have served on the clubhouse and pool committees. I organized the Lake of the Woods Walkers meetup group, currently 89 members strong. I enjoy being a member of Lake of the Woods Garden Club, where we're, among other events throughout the year, maintain the clubhouse, memorial, and library gardens.
Okay. So moving on, what do you see as the primary duties as a member of the board?
The Lake of the Woods board consists of 7 board members who are elected for a 3-year term. Board members are tasked with a list of responsibilities, all in the interest of the community, of course. A board member works year-round, discussing essential issues such as lake water quality, safety, and security, communities' financial performance, such as revenue and budgeting, as well as working closely with the general manager and Lakewood Woods committees. And please note, there are 21 committees here at the lake. A board member works tirelessly in adopting a new resolution or new proposed amendment to bylaws and covenants that may be received from any member of the association, advisory committee, the general manager, or any of the board of directors. Board members will receive advice from general manager, Lakewood Woods attorney, before publishing the proposed amendment in the Lake Currents, soliciting members' comments before passing the amendment. One of the board primary duties is setting the annual assessment for the next fiscal year. In the budget narrative may include a description of the association's current fiscal situation, an expected large capital expenditure, a proposed changes in employee headcount, any funding for approved multi-year contracts, any new initiatives, anticipated inflation changes, and any changes or opportunities for the upcoming budget year. Also, it is the responsibility of the members of Lakewood Woods Association, through the Board of Directors per Lakewood Woods Covenants and the Articles of Incorporation, to care for, maintain, and repair the common areas of the community.
Okay, you mentioned the general manager a moment ago. What is your understanding of the role of the general manager versus the board of directors?
The board of directors is charged with upholding, amending, and reinforcing the articles, bylaws, and covenants of the association when needed. The board of directors gives the general manager budget guidelines based partly on the annual board goals. The board of directors hires and sets general manager's salary. General manager is responsible for day-to-day management, operations, maintenance, and security of all the association's property. General manager supervises the personnel under the association articles of incorporation, covenants, bylaws, rules, and regulations, policy statements, and applicable Virginia law. General manager prepares the budget narrative letter outlining the proposed budget, contribution to reserves, and the capital budget for the upcoming fiscal year. The general manager works for the members through the board of directors. The board gives general manager budget guidelines based partly on the annual board goals. One of the most challenging responsibilities, as we know, is balancing the needs of Lake of the Woods Association community with any assessment increases.
All right, so each year, Lake of the Woods produces a replacement reserve report. This provides Lowe with an inventory of community facilities and infrastructure components that require periodic replacement. It also includes a general view of the condition of those items and the cost of funding the projected replacements. How would you use that reserve study in your work as a board member?
Each September, the general manager distributes a draft repair and replacement reserve report prepared by Miller Dodson Associates for the board of directors to review. Along with other board members, each year I will be reviewing and updating items in the reserve study that were set for replacement in the upcoming budget year to ensure proper funding in the budget. Our board members and I will evaluate whether scheduled replacements are necessary for the current year.
Okay. Are there any future capital projects that you consider to be critical to our community?
Yes, of course, after the economically, to the entire country, devastating 2 years of COVID, the shutdown and the economy and the current war in Ukraine, we're now experiencing rising inflation, high gas prices, and shortages of staff. However, our community must be moving forward with proper funding for some of our capital projects and considering and discussing some minor association and community projects down the road. I'm sure everyone has read the GM General Manager's article in the last Lake Currents regarding possible increase of our security service costs by as much as $60,000. The General Manager is looking into a technology-based approach to avoid the price increase. Also, there is a mention of a scenario of paving a project for a possible paving of our asphalt roads. This will include durability and cost saving over time. The project spanned 5 to 7 years at an estimated cost of approximately, cost of course is just an estimate. It could be 5 million, it could be 6, hopefully not much more than that. Of course, there will be a feasibility study looking at the financing, including a possible long-term loan. Currently, we spend over $125,000 yearly on materials for the CHIP entire program. Of course, this project calls for a community-wide discussion at a town hall meeting as more information becomes available. Soon, Lake of the Woods will be celebrating its 60th anniversary. We're proud of our amenities. This is why Lake of the Woods has become such a popular place to live. If you tell people in Fredericksburg, Spotsylvania, or Stafford that you live at the lake, they will likely express their admiration for where you live. You live at the lake, you're so lucky. Residents hear it all the time. Meanwhile, the residents and authorized visitors are experiencing increased traffic and delays upon entering and exiting the community, especially heavy traffic during holidays and weekends. There is a clear need for either an additional lane or an added entry-exit point. This is currently being widely discussed. It takes money and dedicated service to maintain and sometimes improve some of our amenities. We must be honest, we have challenges ahead. And we must find a way to balance the rising HOA assessments against the necessity of dealing with the increased traffic, the safety and security of our residents, and the wear and tear of our almost 50 miles of roads, the health of our beloved lakes, the drainage issues of several of our lots, the changing demographics, and the rising inflation versus our members' ability to pay the increasing HOA assessments.
All right. Now, you may find this shocking, but as a board member, you're going to be scrutinized by members of our community. And your actions and your statements are going to be criticized on social media and the water cooler and whatever. How will you handle that criticism?
Well, first of all, thank you for a heads up. I'm excited about the opportunity to serve my beloved community and its residents and learn more about the community that has been my home to me and my children for over 30 years. Of course, I anticipate battles, of which some will be won and others will be lost. I have a cool head on my shoulders. My business experience taught me a great deal about negotiating, delegating, patience, and winning and losing. There is no possible way to make everyone happy. There's just no way, and I'm prepared to accept defeat graciously, loss or disappointment, as well as graciously get a win without boasting. Social media will be what it is, a place where people like to vent, celebrate, people show themselves at their best and at their worst on social media.
So, speaking of our fellow members here in the community, do you have any ideas about how to encourage our members to be more active in committee work?
To all members out there, your community, Lakewood Woods, need you. Help your community flourish and move forward. We have such exceptional talent right here at the lake. Some of our residents dedicated their careers to government work, the military, teachers, finance, engineering, and many others. Perhaps you may have retired or still working part-time. We call on you to join one of our 21 committees. We call on you to dedicate some of your time to the community you live and love. Take part, make difference, help us move forward to a better than ever place we call home, Lake of the Woods.
All right, so given both the formal and informal means of communication here in the community, are there any additional ways that you see that we can communicate more effectively with our members?
We have a wonderful ways of communication with our residents today. Carolyn Brodeur put a new face on our Lake Currents, our website, our e-newsletter, electronic newsletter, and our electronic updates when she came to work for Lakewood Woods Association. Thank you, Carolyn. More and more residents feel comfortable using technology. In addition to Lake Currents, our residents can now pay almost for everything electronically by going on lakewoodwoods.org website. Today, updates and announcements come to us via the lakewoodwoods.org website, easily accessible by smartphone or any computer. Also, we have a fantastic electronic calendar compatible with Google Calendar for our convenience. On Lakewood Woods website, you will find a schedule with all the community events, community meetings, programs, celebration, on all critical dates. Everything is there. And of course, we love our Lake Currents, the paper. And I admit to enjoy holding it in my hands and reading, just as we used to have our traditional paper and books before the e-books and Kindles.
Okay. The last question is perhaps the hardest. Why should someone vote for you?
My dedication to public service started when I was 23. I was a flight attendant with Eastern Airlines based in Washington, D.C. Later, I managed my son's travel hockey team, helped my husband with his building business, and served the public as a realtor. I've learned to put the public needs ahead of my own. I'm not a stranger to long hours of work. My extensive training taught me to be understanding and patient during long work hours and complicated issues. My skills include professionalism, excellence in communication, understanding of technology, problem solving, organization, and the ability to keep a cool head during complex negotiations and conflict resolutions, as well as my solid knowledge of zoning, building, construction, rules, budgeting, and numbers. I'm friendly and easy to get along with. I'm strong and confident, as well as responsible and reliable. I'm hardworking with solid ethics. Today, I pledge to you, residents of Lake of the Woods, to work hard and apply a balanced approach to our ongoing assessments, amenities, and budget concern as we move forward. In conclusion, I want to let you know that here in my hands, I have copies of May, June 1970s Lake of the Woods newsletter. It was a much simpler time back then. The newsletter reflects the early stages of our community. Please let me know, anyone, if you would like to receive a copy of this 1970s newsletter. It's quite amazing compared to what it is today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, and good luck.
And thank you. Please vote for me.